woke up, my babies were asleep. We were laying all over the living room floor. Everybody was asleep. Looked like a graveyard. But you got to understand that when you're talking about changing not just a family but a community, you got to be willing to stand up in front of that community and say what that community needs to hear. Anybody that's ever lived in the ghetto knows that the ghetto is depressed. Anybody that ever lived in the ghetto knows that there's a void in the ghetto. But just like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey, they changed lives. There was nobody in the 60s that could move a nation full of people like Martin Luther King when he would get up there and stand in front of a microphone. Nobody could move the Muslims like Malcolm X. Their words had power. They weren't just changing a community and a nation. They were changing lives. Their own families were different. Coretta never remarried. All these people are dead and gone now. But there are still Corettas out there. And Betty Shabazz is out there. And Malcolm X is out there. And Martin Luther King out there. They're out there. Don't be afraid to use your words. But don't use your words as a punching bag. Use your words as a box of candy and flowers. And use them in a way where people know that even though it's criticism, it's constructive and it's coming out of love. Why? Because words have power. Don't allow your life to become so metastasized with drama that you forget what the real deal is. When we first seen our babies, we loved them. We couldn't believe that they came out of our bodies. And sometimes I say words to people that make them feel better. And I have to go sit back and say, oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. And then I've said things to people that were hurtful because I was angry or I was pissed off. And I said, oh my God, I said that to that person. I probably hurt them. And I had to go back. And I had to give them a real apology. Sometimes I'm sorry ain't enough. I went to somebody once and said, you know what? I know I hurt you by what I said and by the things that I've done. I was in a different place in my life at that time. My mind was on something else. And the only focus I had was on me. And I'm sorry that you got hurt. And I was loading up my gun. And all my bullets, my emotional bullets hit you. And I'm sorry. And please, as you go through your life and you say words to people, forgive the shooter. Because remember, there was a time in your life where you were shooting bullets at folks with your mouth. And you got to learn how to forgive them. Just like God will forgive you, you got to be able to forgive them. People don't always mean what they say. We all going through some stuff we never went through before. People are hurtful now. People don't love each other the way they used to. Some people don't do it because they're afraid, because they've been hurt so bad. Some people just don't know how. Be careful how you use your words. My family was so critical to me when I was growing up. People in my life were critical, and all that pain went inside me. You know what I did with it? I attacked my kids with it. I cussed them out a lot. I cussed out men in my life that really cared about me. Everybody gone now. The only ones that forgave me were my children, and they're still here. Because kids love you no matter what you do. But your words to them, when they're negative, they grow up and they don't forget that. Because I reminded my mama stuff that she said to me. And my mama dead and gone. And my kids let me know that I was on some dumb stuff. For real. You better know that. They let me know that. And your kids, when they get grown, they will let you know that. And women, just because you've been in relationships and you've been hurt, please don't devalue the men. Our black men have been hurt too. And our white brothers have been hurt. Yeah. And they felt the same pain that you felt when you was in a relationship with them and you just wasn't feeling them like that. They got hurt, but they don't wear it on their sleeve like we do. They just stop calling you. They don't deal with you. And when they see you, they hang their head. Because they look at you and say, man, we could have been great together. But they bow their head and they walk away. No, they don't speak to you when they see you on the street. You hurt them. And when they hurt us, we say stupid stuff like, oh, you ain't going to even speak? What y'all got to talk about? Because your mind is still fixed on the pain. His mind is looking at, I got away from a problem. Sometimes we can be kind of difficult. Mm-hmm. To my white sisters and my black sisters, we can be kind of hard to deal with, especially if we don't clean out our closet and get them skeletons out of there and go in our suitcase and get rid of all them habits that we learned from my mama that wasn't right, that we learned from my grandmas that wasn't right, and from my girlfriends who never knew what they was talking about because they was hurt just like us. You always want to go to your girlfriend and say, girl, guess what he did to me? You won't believe it. And then the girlfriend always want to give you advice. Come on now. You know that guy that you talking to her about, you only saying that because you hurt. You ain't ready to break up with him. If you ain't ready to break up with your boyfriend and you still want to be with him or your husband, don't go to your family. Because once y'all forgive each other and move on, the family's still mad. And your girlfriends are still mad. Dude, after all that stuff you said he did to you and you went back, learn how to govern your mouth and make your business your business. Now, once you break up and the relationship is over and you know it ain't no going back, then you can tell your story. But while you're still in it, keep your mouth shut. Keep it between you and your man. Why? Because words have power. And when you tell your girlfriends, oh, he called me a B, and he embarrassed me in public and all this, that, and the other, and then a week later she see y'all walking down the street smiling and skipping, she trying to figure out what's wrong with you. That's why you got to keep that to yourself. You don't tell nobody, as my mama used to say, your bedtime secrets. Because what he says to me, the bedtime stories he reads to me before I go to bed, ain't nobody's business but mine and his. Why? Because words have power. Well, you can ask me something different.
As far as like writing, like what inspired you to write, and what once you felt inspired by what you wrote, the second question is what is your focus as far as when you write?
When I first started writing, I started writing out of a hurt. It was a boy in my neighborhood when I was a teenager. I was 14. And I really liked him. He was so cute and he was so nice to me. And he came into my life at a time where my family was going through turmoil. And I needed something to believe in again. So he was so nice, and I took it as love, like a lot of women do. And I was like, oh, wow, he really interested in me. He liked me or whatever. And then after a couple of months, he stopped speaking to me. He would ignore me on the street, wouldn't say nothing, act like he didn't know me. His friends was like, you don't like that old black girl, do you? And all that kind of stuff. And he was like, no, I don't know why she always walking around me and always getting up in my face and stuff. And I really wasn't doing that. I was actually walking to school. It just happened to be that his job was by my school. Mm-hmm. And I went home one night, and I knew I couldn't talk to my family or my mom. My mom was going through her own stuff. So I sat down and I started writing poems. My poems was rhyming at first. For the first 15 years of writing. After that, they didn't rhyme anymore. I started using words that would describe how I was feeling on the deep end of it, but I was young then. So as I got older, my writing got a little deeper. Mm-hmm. And I understood that my words meant something. And when I would let people read my stuff, they used to say, wow, girl, you is the bomb.com. And I was like, it's all right. It ain't that big a deal. So I really didn't think too much about it. But words have a lot of power. And my main goal for my writing right now is to change, to help any mother that has multiple children be able to deal with the struggle with pride and with grace, because I didn't know how to do that. I had to go through trial and error to learn it. I'm trying to find where my memo thing is. And it was hard. I was like, oh, wow. I'm never going to get this. I'm never going to figure this out. I don't know what's going on in my life. I mean, feeling sorry for myself, being sad. Since I couldn't talk to nobody about it, I wrote about it. Every time I felt sad, I got me a pencil and a piece of paper and started writing.
Yeah.
And I was like, one of these days somebody going to read this stuff. I didn't know it was going to be my daughter. But the one I'm talking to right now. But she did read it and she did like it. And I was okay with that. I wanted her to critique me and tell me, well, Mama, you need to fix this and you fix that. But she didn't. She never said that. She liked everything the way that it was. And I was like, okay, cool. So I ain't got to change nothing. I'm good. I'm straight.
Right.
And I was okay with that because she was my child. She loved me. She liked my stuff. I liked her stuff. And we was right on time. But you can't go by me and my child, though. Because me and this daughter right here, we done gone through some things. So we done been through some stuff. So you can't go by what me and her done been through. Please don't do that.
Yeah. And two, she inspired a lot of my songs that I play on here. Like Whispers in the Dark was one of her poems. I turned it to a song. That song called On the Road. She wrote that. That was a poem. I turned that into a song. Because I had got writer's block. I had wrote so many songs. And I had put so many songs on the beats that were provided. And it was this one particular beat, especially on the road song. I just could not figure out what I wanted to sing on that particular instrumental. And when she must have just brung up words. It was only a half a sheet of paper. But I broke that down into a song. And I was shocked that it even filtered out through the whole instrumental. And now that song is just as nice as any other ones that I've wrote.
Well, let me, I have the time and the energy because I get tired a lot. Let me read this poem to all. It even though it's entitled "I Am a Black Woman," it can appeal to any woman. I just put "I Am a Black Woman" because I am. That's why I put that title there. It wasn't to offend nobody.
Right. Yeah.
But if you've gone through it, what I'm about to read, and you struggle with it, then you'll feel me. But I wrote "I Am a Black Woman" because that's what I am. If I was something else, I would have wrote something else.
Amen to that.
I'm a black woman. As the wheels of my life start to turn, I find myself caught under the wheel. As the wheels grind in deeper, I can feel my heart bleed with the pain of a lover I once knew. Unable to breathe in my situation, I find that the hands of my lover is wrapped around my neck. Carrying in my belly the nectar of a love we once shared, I find myself cradling a feeling that leaves me speechless. As I grab a hold of the feelings that tears my body apart, I can feel my heart weeping because the song of a love no longer plays for me. Raped by my naiveness and persecuted by the very fruit I once enjoyed, I find myself realizing I am a black woman. They used to rape me for sport. Now they do it for ratings. Why? Because I am a black woman.
Wow, that was good. I love this one. It might be another song. Ain't nobody got no black woman songs. I ain't heard nothing about being black since James Brown. I'm black and I'm proud. So it'll be, 3 or 4 decades for something like that to come out. I would love to do that. So, yeah, be staying tuned for more shows on poetry and writing and different things like that, because by me doing leadership in the music industry, it's time to get back to
our roots.
Yeah, it really is. And some of us are too young to understand where this all came from, the root of it all.
Right. And
the ones that are grown now, that grew up back in the 70s and 80s, need to bring that back out. And I was talking to PB the Don on live. Y'all need to check that out. That we need to bring back the real talent that's out here, because we so consumed with all these pranks on YouTube and people mumbling on songs, and people really can't rap, people really can't sing. They got auto-tune, they got studio vibes all in their voices, and you really don't get to hear the true, wealth of talent and the true wealth of people having a gift. And that's what I want to bring back on this show. And if I got to bring poets in, if I got to bring musicians in, jazz players, this woman taught me about music, being our human archive, actually, because we got everybody from the 60s all the way till now. And it's crazy.
We do.
That we got stuff that people forgot about.
Right.
That was hits that people overlooked because the radio station only plays certain songs.
You also have to remember, too, that back in the day when the blues came out, which is something a lot of young folks won't listen to it because they say it's sad. But you got to remember that the blues the blues was not just songs. It was a